What's up? Welcome to My House, My Couch podcast, My Open Book, episode 3. In this episode, I'll be talking about the old me versus the new me and the changes I've made to make myself more productive and just more happier these days. So please check it out. Mike can help you. Let's go. This has been a great journey for me, the age I am now and looking back on how I used to be. The first thing I had to change was my mindset, and this is the most important thing because it is the hardest, I believe, getting your mind to understand that it has to change and it has to think in a way where it's leaning more towards the positive things than the negative things. And, the crazy part about it is that's the hardest, like getting your mind to believe things, getting your mind to understand that change has to happen because your mind is the first thing that'll stop you. Your mind is the first thing that'll give you doubts. Your mind is the first thing that will make everything just not be right because it's the way you're thinking. It's the energy that you're putting into your thoughts. We put so much energy on, oh, we got to do this. Oh, I got to do this. You're not putting the energy where it belongs, and that's your brain. Once your brain is focused on something, think about anything you focused on. Think about anything that you like, oh, I got to have it. I got to get it. Your mind was made up. Your mind was made up. Once your mind is made up, the rest is history. So I had to change that first. I had to start believing in myself. I had to start believing that I could do what I wanted to do. I am the engine in my car. And in order for me to go, I had to get my engine to work. And my engine was my brain. So that's first. So if you do that, you're driving in the right direction, shall I say. All right. Okay. So next up, the second thing that I had to do was I had to invest in understanding what I wanted, like figuring out what makes me happy, what I need to change, what habits I need to change. So once my mind was made up, I had to come up with some goals. So it was some things I wanted to do, like lose weight, just be better with money, be more consistent with what I'm starting and following through, and tap into things that make me happy. So, once I changed my mindset and once I started setting my goals, I was able to understand that if I didn't complete these goals, kind of taking in how it would make me feel. Like, have you ever just been like, okay, boom, I didn't complete something, and it's like, oh my God, I feel the worst. And it's like understanding that I have to complete these goals, I have to set them. So that was kind of like the second thing that I did. The thing about that is understanding what makes you happy and what bad habits are contributing to you not completing certain things. We get bad habits from traumas. We get bad habits from our environments. And I don't want to not take accountability for what I'm choosing to do as an adult, but as kids and teenagers and growing up, it's really not our fault. We are born into homes that already have traumas, that already have issues. And, those issues are turned around and brought into our eyesight. And, then we have to make a decision as a kid and a teenager of, being strong to the point where we're not letting certain traumas take our mind, so once you change your mindset, you have to understand that now I've changed my mindset. I have to really start to implement these things. So I need to start digging into myself, finding what I like, just trying to get rid of those bad habits that I've taken along my journey that haven't been prosperous to me, and just kind of deciding at that point, like, okay, now that my goals are in place, now that I have addressed my habits, now that I've changed my mindset, it's time for me to get to work. It's time for me to put foot to pavement and get it done. So this step actually helped me get over the hump of getting my fucking ass up and losing the fucking weight. Just to let you know. Sorry for the cursing, but it's just how it is. Sometimes you got to wake up in the morning and be like, get the fuck up. Like, get the fuck up. Like, what are you doing? You got to talk to yourself. You got to push yourself. Because ain't nobody else going to push you like you going to push. So once I got those two things down packed, I ain't going to say the rest was easy, but it was a little smooth sailing from that point. So yeah, that's how that goes. All right. So once you got your mindset in order, once you've set your goals and you understand what changes need to be made, then you got to put foot to pavement. You got to show up for yourself. You can't show up for nobody unless you show up for yourself. It's hard for me to tell another person that they shouldn't eat this and they shouldn't do this if I'm sitting in their face eating this and doing this, So you have to start showing up for yourself. You have to realize that you are just as important, or if not the most, no, you are the most important thing in your life. You are you. So, my brother had to explain to me. He told me one time, y'all know he the man when I say my brother, but he told me, Dre, there's a difference between a good person and a nice person. He said, you try to be a nice person because you have your insecurities, and you think that being a nice person always determines if you're a good person. He said, no, being a nice person just makes it so that you're a yes person. That means every time somebody calls you, yes, 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 no matter if it takes you out your way, no matter if it puts you in an uncompromising position, you're going to say yes because you're nice. He said that has nothing to do with being a good person. Understanding that you can do things good for people when they're within your boundaries, and it's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you a bad person. It actually makes you a great person because you're actually thinking about how you feel. What is going to make you not feel good, So I had to really take that in. Like, okay, good person, nice person. Okay. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person. Saying no just means that you know what you can and can't do, and you're willing to make those exceptions for yourself, So at this point in my life, it's like, okay, I had to understand that, and then I had to start putting the work in, If I want to lose weight, I got to change my eating habits. I got to start exercising. I got to stop drinking alcohol, which was a key point in my life, might I add. Not saying I was an alcoholic, but yeah, your girl like to get down. I mean, if you know me, I like to get down. That's what it was. So I had to cut it back, because alcohol got so much sugar in it. People I don't even eat and I be gaining weight, but you drink, and that probably put more weight on you than food. So, a lot of people, when they stop drinking alcohol, you'll see the weight kind of fall off because that was a big percentage of their sugar, So I started drinking red wine, just making better decisions for myself, understanding that if I didn't, it's like putting oil in your gas tank. It's not going to work. You're trying to supplement, and you have to put good things in your tank, fruits, vegetables, water. Those things help rejuvenate the skin, the hair, and all those things. So once you start to put things in action, it's like you're putting the required things in your car to help it go, and that's what I started doing. I started putting foot to pavement. I started making changes in my life, realizing what was toxic, what was bad, eliminating those things. And you have to do that in order to get to a happier place. Now, I'm not going to say I'm at a place where I'm just the ultimately happiest person of all time. No, but I'm definitely headed in that direction. I'm very mentally grounded now, and very happy and proud of the things that I've done. But it only would have worked unless I got off my ass and I started doing what I needed to do. So it's hard. It's hard as fuck. But, when you want it, you want it. You know, sometimes you gotta like force yourself to stay consistent, you know, because I ain't gonna lie, you know, it's been times I woke up in the morning and I'd be like, man, fuck that shit. You know, it's been times I done came home from work, fuck that shit. But when I started to lose weight and I started to see the results and see the work that I was putting in, which I didn't see immediately, which can also be another reason why you don't stay consistent. I was coming home from work like, man, fuck this. I'm about to go out here and walk. And that's after pulling a 13, 14 hour shift, you know, and I would come home and I would still exercise and I would still get it in, you know, because I had a goal and I wanted to achieve it. And in order for me to achieve it, I had to be consistent. And sometimes life will throw you the fuck off. Believe what I say, it will throw you the fuck off. You will wake up, your car towed. You will wake up, your basement flooded. You will wake up, you know, you got 3 call outs. You will wake up, you find out, you know, it's just, you just never know. You know, every day is a test. And you got to pass the test. And sometimes the test is hard because you have to stay consistent through the test, you know, and that's one of the hardest things. So I just want to say consistency is one of a very important part of it, because that's the only way you're going to get to the goal. You have to stay consistent. You have to realize that consistency is one of the keys, and that's how you unlock the motherfucking Zell. All right, so we got the mindset change, changing your habits, you know, showing action, showing up for yourself, staying consistent. And then my final thing is you got to finish strong. And when I say finish strong, you got to understand, like when I started losing weight, it wasn't about what I did at that moment. It was about how I was going to stay, you know, stay with the weight off, how I was going to keep the weight off, shall I say. Understanding that it has to be a lifestyle change. This just can't be something that I'm doing for now and losing weight. You know, the work that I'm putting in now, in order to continue to see that, I have to continue putting in work. Now, I won't have to continue because I damn sure don't do the things I used to when it comes to my weight, but I am mindful of what I eat. I'm mindful of how active I am compared to how much I'm eating. You know, and I make those decisions because now I've changed my lifestyle. I still don't drink the way that I used to. So you got to finish strong. You got to understand that these habits, your mindset, all the things that you're changing has to stay this way. Now you're going to have your bad days. There's going to be days where you just like, man, fuck this, you know, and that's cool. Give yourself some grace. It's a lot to life. Life ain't easy. You know, we don't get no handbook. You know, our parents fucked up. They good people, but they got their own traumas and shit. You know, we got our traumas. We try and raise kids and go to work and do all these things. So, you know, give yourself some grace, you know, throughout the process. But understand it never stops. It never stops. You got to finish strong. So speaking of finishing strong, I just want to say that, you know, here lately, you know, just closing out my open book, I just want to let you guys know, I want to thank everybody who's been supporting me so far, family and friends, everybody who's been tapping in and kind of watching me, watching my growth from where I used to be to where I am now. I got a few things going on right now that I want to kind of talk about, that I'm tapping into. You know, I feel like now is a time for me to express myself, you know, express who I am. You know, for a long time, I felt like I was somebody else. You know, I felt like I was trying to please people and I wasn't really trying to do the things to help myself get to a certain point. So now I'm at a point now where I'm tapping into a lot of things that I love to do. So I like to introduce Why Hate and Scrap line. That's my clothing line that I'm trying to start. Well, I am starting. And you know, I'm kind of at the bottom right now, but I'm progressing and things are turning out great. You know, giving myself some grace, understanding this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so it's different for me. You know, so I got a lot of people supporting me and rooting for me because they know, you know, I stay fly. I'm sorry, did I hit my mic? I stay fly and fresh. You know, But I'm also tapping back into my music. I know. People be like, dang, music, why you wait so long? You know, when you're young, you got a lot going on. You know, you really don't have the time that you think you have because you're grown. You know, I never really realized how talented I was musically until recently, until I started really clearing my mind of toxicities and negative thoughts. You know, I really didn't realize how much I loved it and how much it just lets me and sets me free. You know, being able to express myself over a cold ass beat, you know. Something about music when you're going to work, when you're coming home, when you're going through a breakup, when you feeling good, when you're in a good relationship, man, that music do something to you, you know. And everything out here kind of weak now, so why not? Hey, clothes week, music week, fuck it, I do it myself. You feel me? I do it myself because I'm talented too, and I got a lot of shit going on. So y'all gonna see a lot of me. You feel me? All right, so thank y'all. My open book, episode 3. I hope that the things that I've talked about will help you guys kind of see where you want to be. You know, we all going through stuff. Parents not here no more. You know, you got to depend on yourself, but you got kids. You know, you just got to be strong. You got to be strong-willed, strong-minded. Only the strong survive in life. You know, and I'm just happy that I'm here and I'm able to give you guys this game after all the bullshit I've been through. You know? So, just like that. So, thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Keep checking me out. It's more to come. All that good shit. Deuces. Who wants to sit on the couch? Only dope things happen on this couch.